What up, everybody? We got our first look at the Baldwin family in Season 3 of Power when Kanan was in DC and got involved in a jewelry store heist with Jukebox and a crew that she had put together. The inside man for this job was a kid named Dirt, who Kanan also killed during this robbery. But at the time that the robbery took place, Dirt was with a customer, and the customer was none other than Lauren Baldwin's mother. Because of that, I think there's a good possibility that Lauren grew up in Washington, D.C., and the Baldwin family later moved to New York after this robbery. Because Lauren's boyfriend, when she was first introduced in Season 1 of Ghost, named Malcolm, also went to school in D.C. When Lauren was first introduced, we also learned that she had a brother, but he wasn't around like that because he had a drug problem. Her brother was said to be very smart, but the pressure of always trying to succeed got to him, and he fell down bad to a drug addiction. She said that her brother hadn't been able to live outside of a halfway house for a while, but he did have an apartment that his parents got for him in New York before his problems started, that Lauren offered to let Tariq live in before he got arrested for the double murder charge. Not forgetting the whole reason why Tariq was arrested for that to begin with was the fact his girlfriend at the time, Lauren, wore a wire on him after Carrie Milgram convinced her that they were just looking into Braden. Lauren did this because she got caught with pills in her room that Bruce Chandria put there. Because she was an honor student and Carrie Milgram told her this would go on her record, and also trying to make sure that her parents didn't find out, she decided to wear the wire. And because that's a violation in the game, and Tariq was willing to give her a pass, Effie tried to take matters into her own hands and tried to kill Lauren by making it look like she got into a car wreck. And everyone thought that Lauren was dead. Then Sachs found out that she was alive, and Jenny Sullivan had been playing him. Then Tariq found out she was alive, and then everyone else when the feds came and arrested Effie for attempted murder. Then in order to get Effie out of jail and burn the feds in the RICO case, Tariq came up with a plan to take pictures of Lauren's parents who were back in town for the trial and show them to Lauren like Obi did to them. But the Tejadas took this a step further and actually took Lauren's parents hostage and showed it to Lauren through FaceTime. And when Effie promised Lauren she wouldn't retaliate, Lauren recanted and Effie was released, and Medina forced Blanca and Jenny to drop their RICO case. And this is the last we heard from Lauren Baldwin as her and her parents were leaving their old house at the end of Season 3. And she threw the phone in the trash on her way out the door. So we don't know where Lauren went after this, but I think she went to wherever her parents were living when they thought she was dead. I think most likely they moved back to DC. But it would be crazy though if they moved to Chicago and we somehow got to see Lauren on Force. But one thing about Lauren having to pretend she was dead is that she missed an entire semester at Stansfield. And we know that wherever she moved, whether it's Chicago or DC or somewhere else, that Lauren got back into school wherever she moved to. But ironically enough, the person with the most mysterious backstory on the show, Effie, is the only person from Stansfield who we actually know what they were majoring in. Effie's majoring in robotics, and I know that Lauren and Tariq were in a course called Canonical Studies, but I don't think that was their major, and even if it is, I have no idea what that means personally, and I even tried Googling it and couldn't find a concrete answer. But Lauren and her family has low-key been through a lot. Her mother was at the jewelry store when it got robbed, her brother became a drug addict and can't live outside a halfway house, Lauren was almost killed, then forced to play dead by a zealous prosecutor, and her parents were held hostage by Kane and Drew Tejada. Because of all this, like Lauren said to Effie, that she's not the same as she once was. Something we also heard Diana say something similar to in Season 4. While Effie had no kind of sympathy because she said her entire life has been hell. And ever since Lauren was first introduced, she's drawn comparison to one particular OG character, Angela Valdez. Angela was Ghost's first love from middle school and high school, but the two went in different directions when they were 16 years old, and Angela decided to go to Choate, and James decided to stay in the streets and become Ghost. But we found out in Power that Angela's family, her father and her sister, always felt a way about Jamie St. Patrick, and they told Angela to stay away from him and that he was bad news. But Angie couldn't help herself, saying that nobody made her feel like Jamie did. And like Tariq told Junior, Angela's niece, right before killing him, "You know your Aunt Angela was the worst thing that ever happened to my dad." And obviously, he wasn't too good for her either, or for you, right before putting Junior's lights out. So ironically enough, Tariq literally echoed the same thing to Junior that Angela's family was always trying to tell her, that Jamie St. Patrick was not good for her. So now the question is, will Tariq have that like father, like son moment and run into Lauren one day in the future like Ghost did with Angela? When Ghost ran into Angela at Club Truth and she found out that he was a big time nightclub owner, she never suspected that Ghost was still in the game, either though she knew his past and how he was a dope boy when she left for Cho. Angela was so blinded by her love for Ghost that instead she bought this blue-collar story about how Ghost cleaned up a few abandoned parking lots and saved up enough money to start the laundromat business, then eventually saved up enough to buy the club. And when Ghost saw Angela that night at the club, it had been 18 years since the two last saw each other when Angela left for Cho. So that 18-year time gap is one of the biggest differences between Tariq and Lauren and Ghost and Angela. Even with the 2 to 3 year time skip at the beginning of the next spinoff, like I talked about yesterday, make sure to go on my page and check that video out if you haven't yet. But still, it wouldn't be anywhere near the same amount of time that it had been since Ghost last saw Angela. And another big difference between Lauren and Angela is the fact that Angela and Ghost left off on good terms. Ghost was with her at the bus station when she left for Cho, while Tariq and Lauren left off on bad terms, with Tariq playing Lauren and putting her parents' life in danger. Another difference is that Tariq told Tasha that as long as he's in the game, that he won't be starting a family of his own. While Ghost already had a whole wife and 3 children when he bumped back into Angela 16 years later. So these are some key factors to keep in mind how Lauren and Tariq will be different from the Angela and Ghost storyline. Yes, either though they are similar, there are also some key differences at the same time. Because of that, I can see Tariq bumping into Lauren in a future spinoff, just like Ghost bumped into Angela at Truth. Tariq will be very successful by this time, owning multiple businesses as fronts for his drug operation. And I can also see Lauren becoming a prosecutor or something similar to what Angela Valdez was. But when Tariq meets Lauren again, he will be trying to get on her good side and trying to make up to her for what happened at the end of season 3, apologizing to her about that and likely telling her he's a changed man. And this could be when Tariq decides that he needs to get out the game so he can settle down with Lauren and start a family. But like Ghost found out, getting out the game won't be as easy as he thinks it will be. And another way I can definitely see Lauren returning that wouldn't have anything to do with Tariq right away is by bringing back Lauren as a character in Influence. Because like I said, I think she's originally from DC and Influence would likely be based out of DC. Then if Lauren and Tariq were in 2 different spin-offs, this would kind of build up for the crossover scene when they bump into each other again. And there you have it. Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.